Right now on ABC 10 News at 4, new developments in the aftermath of that deadly shooting in the Gaslamp last week. ABC 10 News speaks with the family of one of the 4 survivors. Plus, the cold, rainy weather will not last very long. We're tracking a big warm-up coming to San Diego County. And a story that's positively San Diego, a local teenager's mission to strengthen the connection between San Diego and Mexico.
ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news, the Republican-led effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom now has enough voter signatures to qualify for the ballot. The Secretary of State's office reports that more than 1.5 million verified voter signatures were submitted. Now, there are still a lot of steps before a recall will be put on the ballot. Voters who signed the petition will now be given time to withdraw their signatures if they choose. Secretary of State Shirley Weber then has to certify the recall petition. State officials also have to figure out how much a recall election would cost. And all of that, it could take months. Politico reports the actual election date will fall somewhere between October and late November.
I want to extend our condolences to the Bolton family. You know, it's a senseless tragedy.
We also have new developments. The names of the 4 survivors from last week's deadly shooting in the Gaslamp, they have now been released. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke to the wife of a local man who suffered multiple gunshot wounds and is still on a ventilator.
Stephen Ely's wife told me that he's already undergone 2 surgeries. The bullets have caused extensive damage, but he's expected to pull through. Monday, police released the names of the recovering survivors from the massive shooting in the Gaslamp quarter that killed 28-year-old Justice Bolden. According to SDPD, the survivors include Vincent Kazani, Alexander Ballas, and Jatil Kodati, all in their mid-20s and from New Jersey. 68-year-old San Diegan Stephen Ely was also shot. Monday, his wife said that he's expected to be hospitalized for at least another 2 weeks.
It's a senseless tragedy and something that should have never happened.
Michael Trimble runs the Gaslamp Quarter Association, which represents hundreds of businesses in the area where the shootings happened on Thursday night. Bolden was a valet employee for the Pendry Hotel, working for Ace Parking. Police said that 32-year-old suspect Travis Saraste shot and killed him before taking off and shooting 4 others in what SDPD believes were unprovoked attacks. Court documents show he pled guilty to an assault-related misdemeanor from 2018 where he was ordered to serve probation and not have guns, and he has a current warrant out for a business license felony. He's now in custody facing murder and attempted murder charges. Trimble said Monday that his office is working with local officials to ensure that patrol is stepped up.
So really when it comes right down to it, the Gaslamp Quarter is probably the safest place to come because the city's committed to safety of the Gaslamp. And PD is committed to that.
Of the 3 shooting survivors from New Jersey, 1 is still in the hospital in stable condition. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
2 former soldiers with the Israeli army were downtown when the shooting happened and helped save one of those victims. We have their heroic stories next on ABC 10 News at 5. In the meantime, a man is recovering after being shot in the neck this morning in Santee on State Route 125. As our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty tells us, the man was driving to work when he was shot through his window.
San Diego County Sheriff's deputies scoured the pavement looking for shell casings and evidence after a man opened fire here on the 125 at Mission Gorge Road just before 8 this morning. They spent hours meticulously searching the roads and nearby shrubs, even using a drone to get a look from above. Traffic stopped in both directions. A 28-year-old man inside this white pickup on his way to work was shot multiple times while at a stop here. According to the victim, a black SUV started driving parallel to his truck. A passenger then started firing several shots into the truck. You can see a hole in the side of the window. One shot hit the victim in the neck. He was taken to the hospital where he was later released. Investigators are not revealing details or saying if this was some type of road rage incident. The man in this truck, lucky the shot only grazed his neck. Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
The police are still looking for the shooter. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers.
New guidelines about wearing masks are likely coming tomorrow. The CDC has been hinting at updating its guidance around masks for fully vaccinated people. This is likely going to have to do with the outdoors only. We talked about this a bit last week. Data does show that COVID spread in outdoor spaces where people are not crowded together is very low. Wearing a mask diminishes that even more, but Now that millions of people have vaccine protection as well, health leaders are revisiting this issue. We are hearing more about women experiencing some rare side effects after getting vaccinated. CDC's reported that 15 women have experienced blood clots after getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. 3 of those cases were deadly. CDC's advisory committee says the risk of blood clotting is higher among women between the ages of 30 and 39. Up until now, only 1 man has experienced a blood clot, and that happened during the trial. Generally, in large medical trials, the focus is on the entire population of participants, not gender differences.
There is a growing call for to look at these differences as new vaccines, new drugs are brought out. Certainly, it has been something that has not been done on a widespread basis in the past, but I think that it is time, and people have seen, and we will probably be continuing to see differences in the way women and men respond.
Other side effects have also been seen in women and weren't confirmed to the J&J vaccine. There have been some cases of anaphylaxis or allergic reactions, mostly in women, after getting the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. Researchers are also gathering data on reports of short-term changes in menstrual cycles after the vaccine. Chicago's public health commissioner answered questions about this on Facebook and said estrogen can elevate immune responses, which is why women, especially those younger in age, tend to have more of a response to vaccines.
I think the fact that the side effects, these minor side effects, are common in vaccines in general, and the fact that they happen maybe more commonly in women than men may be suggestive of the fact that the women's immune system is more robust in its response to the vaccine, and this may confer better protection.
Doctors emphasize that the benefits still outweigh the risk of side effects and encourage everyone to get vaccinated.
All right, turning now to our weather on this rainy Monday. The wet weather will not last long. Don't get used to it. We have some major changes on the way. Our meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking all of that for you right now. Angelica.
Hi, Steve. Yes, a little bit of everything for this week, but of course we've seen some showers. We've also seen some areas of sunshine and very little moisture. So taking a look at the numbers kind of gives you an idea of what has been happening. So for some of you, doing much better in San Diego, only about 0.02 of an inch. In Vista, 0.06 of an inch. And then you get to Encinitas, about that 1/10 of an inch. Ramona and Santee doing much better, but Del Mar not too far behind at just over 1/10 of an inch. As we look now at our pinpoint Doppler live, you can see most of those showers are confined now to the higher elevations, closer to Alpine, over towards Mount Laguna. There's still a little bit of moisture in Valley Center and Escondido, but coastal communities are actually doing much better right now, looking drier. There could be another chance of showers tonight into tomorrow before the heat returns to San Diego. And I'll show you how hot it's going to be later this week.
Looking forward to that. Angelica, thank you. Okay, for the first time, California is losing one of its seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. That drops the number of members from 53 to 52. Now, this is according to population data the Census Bureau just released today. The seat loss is a result of our state's low population growth. We are still the nation's most populous state with about 40 million people, but 6 other states, including New York, also lost 1 seat. Other states like Texas gained 2 seats and Florida gained 1. The United States is also sending about 650 troops to Afghanistan to protect forces as they withdraw. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin approved that deployment last week. It's part of a package of military assets being sent to Afghanistan to facilitate the U.S. withdrawal. President Biden announced earlier this month the U.S. would be ending the longest running war in American history. The withdrawal is set to begin May 1st and be completed by September 11th. And later this week, President Biden will also be speaking at a joint session of Congress for the first time during his presidency. The invitation from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi asked the president to, quote, share his vision for addressing the challenges and opportunities of this historic moment. The president is expected to address the pandemic and, of course, the massive infrastructure legislation he hopes to pass. His speech is scheduled for Wednesday and will be carried live at 6 p.m. right here on ABC 10.
The Supreme Court will look at the Second Amendment next term. This story starts the newsfeed. The High Court will take up a case about a New York law that restricts individuals from carrying a concealed handgun in public. It has been more than a decade since the High Court has made significant rulings on the right to bear arms. Now, can a public school discipline a student for what they say off campus? That is another case that the justices will look at. A teenager went on a profanity-laced tirade on Snapchat, and this case has actually made it all the way to the Supreme Court. Arguments will be made on Wednesday. Well, we already know that secondhand smoke, it's a problem for your lungs, but now researchers say it could be bad news for your mouth as well, because there's a new study in the journal Tobacco Control that says that secondhand smoke increases the risk of oral cancers. In fact, the study says people exposed to secondhand smoke have a 51% higher risk of developing oral cancers.